Alright, here we go. This is Klazart bringing you another audio commentary, and this is Game 3 on Longinus 2 between sAviOr and Iris. This is a very exciting series which I, as I said before, really enjoyed watching while I was watching it live, and I think I'll have a lot of fun commentating on this game. So sAviOr started up here at the 11 o'clock position in red, playing Zerg as always, and Iris is playing Terran at the 2 o'clock position. Again, unlike Neo-Arachnoid, this map is much more open and does allow for various strategies. sAviOr once again scouting counterclockwise, as he tends to do, sending his overlord south towards the 7 o'clock position, and he's at the moment just making drones. Iris, on the other hand, isn't really I'm not sure if he's gonna fast expand, or my guess would be that he is gonna wall off his choke and fast expand, and it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. He started building off a supply depot first. This is in contrast to the previous game, where he built a barracks first. So the fact that he's building a supply depot means that he's unlikely to try and go for a rush. He's going to try and mass up a few more SCVs to try and speed up his resource gathering so that he can tech faster, and therefore have more of an advantage later game. sAviOr still has not started making his spawning pool, so he also is going to probably be going for his usual 3 hatchery strategy, where he makes 3 drones and then a hatchery, and then either a spawning pool or a 3rd hatchery. So he sent his first drone out now. This is probably going to be for the purpose of making his expansion, and he's gonna set down a hatchery now at his natural, which he has done uncontested, since Iris has yet to start scouting. Iris has completed a supply depot and is using the same SCV to make his barracks. This is a fairly kind of spread out map, and I think that there's no real limit on the kind of strategies that are available to both Zerg and Terran players. I know a lot of Terrans would probably opt to fast expand on this map when playing a Zerg, but I don't think that this is a map where kind of a rush is completely out of the question. Obviously, Iris has not chosen to do that at this stage, so sAviOr, not finding Iris's base with his overlord, has decided to send a drone out because he doesn't want to get caught off guard, as he has in the previous 2 games, just to make sure there's no rush coming from Iris. And actually, this is a unique thing about this map, is that even though Iris built a barracks and a supply depot, he didn't wall off his natural, so that's very poor base placement. He really should have been able to wall it off with those 2 structures. And I'm sure he's practiced this map more than enough times to know if he needed a 3rd building there, which he obviously did not have. So sAviOr has managed to sneak his drone in, and he's seen that Iris is fast expanding, and in response sAviOr has put up a 3rd hatchery in the top corner of his base, and my guess is he's probably going to build stuff there that will be difficult for Iris to scout with the comsat. Iris has got a couple of Marines out, and he's sending them out just to harass or maybe pressure sAviOr into doing something, maybe kill a drone or 2 if he can, just to hurt sAviOr's economy. His sAviOr's obviously completed his hatchery, so I mean, in terms of bunker rushes, that's pretty much not possible at this stage. The conventional wisdom on a bunker rush, or any sort of rush really, is that you need to have your bunker finished before the hatchery is finished, and if you can't, then usually that means your rush is going to fail. So Iris just scouting around with his SCV in sAviOr's base. His fast expansion is up now, and he's starting to produce more SCVs from it. sAviOr not doing too much at this stage either. He's just pumping a few drones. He's got a couple of Zerglings out. He's now started his lair tech, so that's pretty quick. On this occasion, but he again went for the 3rd hatchery before starting his lair tech, so that does seem to be his kind of favorite way. Iris now starting his factory pretty quickly. Again, I think he wants to try and get that siege tank out as quickly as possible, try and break sAviOr's sunken line. He's also building an academy at the same time, so he's walled off behind his choke there, and quite safe, and he knows sAviOr can't really do anything to get in there to hurt him, so he can take his time and tech and expand and produce more SCVs. sAviOr obviously is doing the same thing. He hasn't made any sunkens yet because he does not anticipate a rush from Iris, though not having any kind of defenses in place does lead him to be slightly vulnerable if Iris decides to send a couple of vultures down to harass. sAviOr doesn't really have anything to counter the vultures, and his Zerglings aren't really an effective defense against vultures. But that is a strategy that you see very, very rarely, though I have on one occasion seen a Zerg win purely by vultures, a Zerg beaten purely by vultures, a fast vulture roast from a Terran. And here we go, sAviOr once again sending us a drone out to the 9 o'clock expansion, where he's going to make a second base so that he can get that extra third gas that he needs in order to have his late game Defiler play be effective. And Iris has got his comp set up. Now sAviOr hasn't started his hatchery yet. He probably doesn't have the resources for that yet, so he's just hidden his drone down at the corner of the 9 o'clock expansion till when he's ready to make that hatchery. Alternatively, it might not be a case of resources. I mean, if he wanted to, I'm sure he could just wait and have the resources. I think he realizes that he needs to have some defense up for that base should he set it up, since he anticipates Iris is going to scout it. These guys, remember, are teammates, so they know each other's playstyles quite well, and I'm sure have practiced against each other in the past. sAviOr's Zerglings there positioned very well to take out that scouting SCV, and Iris just brings his medic marine force back behind his bunker, not wanting to send them out just yet. So sAviOr's got his Hydralisk den up, he's got his lair up, obviously he's probably teching lurkers right now. He's also got a creep colony up that he hasn't turned into anything yet, and I think he started his hatchery now at the 9 o'clock base, seeing that Iris hasn't moved out of his base. Now Iris really just teching really fast here. He's got a couple of barracks up, he's got his science facility up, he's finishing off the control tower on his starport, so I think Iris really wants to get into sAviOr's base before sAviOr gets Defiler tech. That I think is probably what Iris's plan is, and I think it's a wise plan, because sAviOr really, once he gets Defilers, his control is just so immaculate that it's really hard to break it down, and you just get pushed back very quickly. So sAviOr spires up, his Mutalisks have popped, and he's going to go in for some harass on Iris's base, and he sent a couple of drones to his expansion at the 9 o'clock position, which is almost finished. He's got his Zerglings scouting outside, and Iris is setting up a few turrets, and here we go, and Iris, anticipating that attack from sAviOr, from the harassment from sAviOr with his Mutalisks, has got his Marines in there, stimming them just to make sure that he doesn't, and he's built a lot of turrets in his expansion as well. He's got 4 turrets up there, and I just think he just doesn't want to lose any resources or lose time to sAviOr like last time, where he lost his machine shop, and that cost him the game, in my opinion. So sAviOr's got his expansion at 9 o'clock up. He's taking the gas there, and he's content to let Iris have a blockade behind his base. He's content to have Iris sit there while he shores up his defenses, would be my view. And he's just patrolling around, probing the defenses, picking off units. He's picked off another SCV there. Iris has got a science vessel. Obviously, he doesn't have enough energy for irradiate on that to irradiate those Mutalisks as yet. But sAviOr not really doing a lot of damage with that Mutalisk harass, which is good for Iris, obviously. And he continues to build up that Marine force. I have yet to see him produce a tank. I guess he wanted to get that science vessel out first on this occasion, and Iris just using the comm set there, and I don't know if he spotted sAviOr's tech area, where sAviOr's got his Hydralisk down, a couple of evolution chambers as well, and on this side again you can see, because of the way the map is and the way Iris's base is spread out, he doesn't have any turrets guarding that end of his base. And Iris using Irradiate there, but sAviOr, quite skilled, managed to separate that Mutalisk. And we're switching here to first-person view mode, and you can see what Iris knows. Iris does not know that sAviOr has got that expansion at 9 o'clock, giving him extra gas and resources. And Iris tries to move out, but he's going to have to bring his Marines back in, because sAviOr is just willfully picking off units and SCVs inside his base. And if Iris doesn't do anything to counter that, now you see he's sending out his science vessels back to probably irradiate those Mutalisks. And sAviOr just willfully harassing Iris's base. And here we see an irradiate, and sAviOr separates it out. He was a bit slow on the separation this time, still hasn't separated out fully, and he finally separates out those Mutalisks. So they took quite a fair amount of damage there, and sAviOr's going to back them off because he doesn't want to risk losing too many of them. He's going to allow them to back off and regenerate, I think. He's got a few lurkers there blocking that ramp off into the middle of the map, and Iris is now moving out into the center of the map. He does have the units to gain map control. sAviOr has positioned himself quite well. He spread out his forces around to try and pincer Iris. So he's got Iris on many fronts. And again, as you can see, sAviOr just trying to slow Iris's advance down as much as possible using those lurkers, forcing Iris to go into siege mode. Iris irradiates a lurker there. He's got a couple of vessels, and he knows sAviOr can't have defilers this early in the game. He's also got that science facility scouting for him, which is pretty good, because he knows now that sAviOr is also at his rear. But what sAviOr has done here is he's forcing Iris to maneuver his forces back and forth, keeping him pinned down in his section of the map, preventing him from really pushing sAviOr's main and buying himself time to build his defilers. So Iris just using his science vessels and his tanks just to take out another lurker, and I think sAviOr is happy to sacrifice. Oh, and here we go, we've got a couple of scourges coming in. He's taken out, and he takes out both of those science vessels, but he's lost all his mutalisks in the process. But I think that was great. He's taken out the science vessels. So I mean, one of the problems with Terran, especially late game, is if you let them build up too many science vessels, you're basically gonna lose. sAviOr only has a single creep colony at his natural, and he started up his defilers, and his hive is complete. I'm still not sure if Iris is aware of sAviOr's expansion at 9 o'clock. My guess is he isn't. And here we go, sAviOr, and Iris has left a few marines there in the middle of the map, just exactly for this eventuality, to spot sAviOr's troops coming in. And Iris is now setting up camp, setting up a siege right outside sAviOr's natural. sAviOr's got a lot of army, though. He's got a lot of lurkers and zerglings built up, and he's going to effectively try and pincer Iris, and Iris is trying to anticipate that and stop that from happening. He goes back with his vessel and marines and irradiates a lurker and comes back out to his tanks. But obviously, and here again, Iris's reinforcements being slowed down by a couple of well-positioned lurkers just outside his main, and Iris has had to pull back his marines to try and allow them to come in. And sAviOr's actually, while that was happening, sAviOr's attacked and taken out Iris's forced Iris's force to move backwards, and he's taken that ramp now. So there's considerable distance between Iris's army and sAviOr's natural, which is exactly how sAviOr wants it. So this game right now, from what I can tell, is going exactly the way sAviOr wants it to go. Iris again irradiating a couple of lurkers, but sAviOr successfully keeping him at bay, and Iris still isn't. And then again, you see Iris has had to position his marines behind his tanks because sAviOr's got units up there, so sAviOr can pincer him from that direction. So he's got his marines behind. He doesn't have enough marines to stand on both sides of the tanks, and so the science vessel, which was kind of at the front of the tank, revealing the burrowed lurker, was easily taken out by the scourge, and sAviOr now has taken out a tank with a couple of zerglings. So the fact that sAviOr's got his forces spread around, he's got enough of them, and he's got them spread around the map, means that Iris is unable to present a unified front to sAviOr's forces, making it easier for sAviOr to pick off his units and to keep him slowed down. And he's now got his defiler, he's got Consume, and here we go, first swarm coming up from sAviOr, and another one, and he takes out the tank. So this push for Iris has failed. He's also set up a swarm behind Iris's forces, so Iris is really kind of pincered in between those two. He's got lurkers in both places, and he's lost pretty much all the tanks that he had in that attack. And sAviOr continues to move in with his troops, just trying to finish off those remaining straggling forces. Well, I do notice that he doesn't have any scourges this time to take out that wandering science vessel. And Iris now sending a small batch of medic and marines. He's lost his main attacking force, and he's sending a small batch of medic and marines down towards the 7 o'clock position, or 6:30 position, where Iris is, where sAviOr has is starting up another hatchery, which Iris has scouted, and that hatchery doesn't look to me like it's going to get built. But sAviOr doesn't care. He's going in with his army. He's going in. The defiler's been irradiated. sAviOr's going in. He's managed to get the swarm off just outside Iris's choke, and he's burned about 6 lurkers there. So that bunker is going to go down. That tank isn't really good. Iris has got a few tanks inside, but those tanks aren't going to do anything against that those swarmed lurkers. So his choke definitely is gone. But luckily for him, sAviOr does not have another force following in to back up those lurkers. Aris has now taken out the 630 hatchery that sAviOr has started off, and he's also pulled back his lurkers from the choke of Aris's base. Aris is now sending a group of Medican Marines to take out the 9 o'clock expansion that he is aware of. All sAviOr has there is a single sunken. I don't think he's got a lurker outside which wasn't burrowed, and Aris is going to take that down quite easily because he scans just as it was burrowed, and he's now moving into sAviOr's base. sAviOr puts up a swarm, but the Medican Marine force is already inside. Aris is coming in. sAviOr is coming in with a defiler and 5 lurkers. Again, great play by Aris, picking off another lurker, maneuvering his small force very, very well just up the top of sAviOr's ramp, and he's going to now be able to take out sAviOr's. He's killed the gas, he's killed a few drones, he's killed the gas at the 9 o'clock expansion. sAviOr moves in again with the defiler and the thing. So Aris playing excellently here, microing that small Medican Marine group really, really well. He's now got them stuck in behind the mineral line of sAviOr's base, and at the same time he's multitasking, he's attacking for Aris's natural expansion, but sAviOr's natural expansion. But sAviOr's got a couple of swarms up there as well, so both players really equal to the task on this occasion. Meanwhile, Aris continues to take down sAviOr's 9 o'clock base, but sAviOr has finally killed off that small Medican Marine force. But I think that force was worth more than it cost to build. It's inflicted heavy casualties on sAviOr's expansion. He's taken out sAviOr's third gas, which is going to slow sAviOr's gas down quite a lot, reduce his production of lurkers. sAviOr once again pushing back Aris's forces, which have established themselves in the outside on the ramp outside of sAviOr's natural, and Aris once again forced to pull back with his forces. sAviOr successfully pushing him back. Aris continues to maintain the pressure. He keeps sending out these kind of skirmish groups. He's now sent a couple of science vessels with some Medican Marines and a fire bat once again towards the 9 o'clock expansion of sAviOr, trying to take that out. And this time sAviOr's got a couple of lurkers buried just up the ramp, and he's also buried a few lurkers behind, so he's pincered Aris's forces, and oh my god, those Marines walked right into that. They got slaughtered by those lurkers. The science vessels, I don't know where they went. Aris obviously did not see that, and he just kind of attack moved those Marines in, and they all got slaughtered. I think he managed to pull the medics out in time, but that force was a complete waste. Not effective at all. So Aris has now built up about 3 science vessels, and yeah, sAviOr just finishing off those medics from that last attack with those Zerglings, and he's moving out once again with yet another force. sAviOr continues to have, in my opinion, map control. He's positioned his forces all around the map, and Aris again trying to clear out those lurkers on the ramp just outside his own natural. sAviOr puts up a dark swarm there, but it was a little too late to take out those to help that lurker that was borrowed there, and a couple of scourges just getting killed by the moving out Medican Marine force. And Aris is now concentrating on trying to take out sAviOr's 9 o'clock expansion because he knows that he can't break sAviOr's natural, so he's just going to try and take out sAviOr's extraneous resources and try and limit him that way, playing for the longer game. Again, sAviOr's equal to the task. He's anticipated the move. He's set up his swarm, and once again he's pushed Aris back. Aris doing very well, conserving his forces, not getting them taken out by the swarm. The problem with the swarm is that as long as the Terran keeps maneuvering around it, you can be very effective. And Aris here has set up his tanks in a very good position, just outside, just below, south of the 9 o'clock expansion, across the ridge, so sAviOr can't reach it by land, and this allows him to present a single front to sAviOr's forces coming from the north, and he's positioned his Medican Marines there, and he's just basically, so sAviOr sets up the swarm. He's trying to get close. The defiler is irradiated. He's coming in now, and a couple of scourges. One science vessel is down, one of the tanks is down, the scourges kill another, 2 of the tanks are down, and a lone Zergling is actually going to pick off, and sAviOr actually, I hadn't noticed, sAviOr's actually got an Ultralisk up there, so he's put up an Ultralisk cavern while all of that was going on, and really, you know, to be honest, this game isn't going to last much longer from what I can tell. sAviOr's also got a couple of lurkers down borrowed. He's also got a base set up down south at the 630 expansion. Aris only has 3 science vessels, so sAviOr has been consistently taking out those science vessels, preventing Aris from building up a significant number of forces. And Aris now trying to take out that base down south, at the 630 expansion, but his forces really picked off. He didn't micro them at all, and they just got picked off by the lurkers on the way through. He's just got a single marine and medic, which aren't really going to do much. And once again, sAviOr coming in, he set up the swarm, he's sending the lurkers. Iris has a couple of firebats to try and deal with those ultralists and lurkers, and sAviOr's got about 4 lurkers buried beneath that swarm, and he forces Iris once again to move away, and oh my god, he's got about 4 or 5 ultralisks there, and I'm not sure, is Iris going to spot that? He spotted it, he's irradiated some of the troops. sAviOr puts a defensive swarm up, just for the sake of it, to make sure Iris doesn't advance further, and he's got about 3 defires as well. So Iris once again is going to try and take out this 9 o'clock expansion. He's tried 3 or 4 times successfully. He did get through on one occasion and killed off a lot of drones and lurkers at the time when it was undefended, but since then he hasn't been able to get back in. sAviOr once again intercepts him outside. Swarm is up. Ultralists are attacking. sAviOr pulls those 2 ultralists back, successfully warding off that push from Iris. Iris has taken the mid-only outside his base, but obviously he has 2 gases compared to sAviOr's 3. And oh wow, there's plague on all of Iris's medic and marines, and you know, he's gonna be forced to pull back. And he doesn't have any tanks in that army. He's got a couple of science vessels. He just doesn't seem to have the overall unit output that sAviOr has. He's really being out-microed here by sAviOr, who has map control. And Iris is now he's decided to try and go for the 630 expansion, realizing he can't break to the 9 o'clock expansion, maybe because it's too close. But sAviOr does have a Nidus canal up in there, so he will be able to quickly get reinforcements should Iris choose to attack that base. And you can see sAviOr's troops accumulating just outside of his natural, and he's got a couple of lurkers buried under the dark swarm, guarding the choke to his 630 expansion. So Iris is not going to be able to break through that. He's continuing to pump out science vessels. He's switched purely to science vessels and medic and marines and firebats here. He's not producing any more tanks as far as I can tell. And here we go, sAviOr going for Iris's natural min only, and he's coming in with a few ultralists, 1 down, and swarm goes up. Scourge is there, but there are no science vessels. He's also got lurkers coming in. Plague goes off on all of the tanks and the marines, and sAviOr is just decimating this min only base. Iris does not have sufficient defenses to stop sAviOr, and Iris meanwhile going for the 630 base. A lot of his marines killed there by the lurkers, and sAviOr still set up outside Iris's mid-only, and sAviOr's got reinforcements popping out of his 630 base from the Nidus, so he's going to be able to save that base quite comfortably. And at the same time, he's got Iris pinned back, and lots of Scourges coming out. Oh my god, those science vessels are completely undefended. 3 go down, 2 left. He's got Scourges chasing them, another one go down, and all of Iris's science vessels have been destroyed by the Scourge. That was excellent move by sAviOr. Iris did not have any medic and marines to protect those science vessels that were out there down at the 630 expansion, and sAviOr's timing with the Scourge was just 5,000% there. Just brilliant timing by sAviOr on those Scourge. And really, this game is finished. Iris did build a base at the 5 o'clock position to try and get that extra gas, but sAviOr's now moved in with a few ultralists and zerglings, and he's going to take that base down, and Iris forced to lift that command center. sAviOr continued to build more hatcheries, and really this game is a foregone conclusion. It has been for almost the last 10 minutes, I'd say. You know, I think this game has gone exactly as sAviOr wanted. He's controlled the map the whole way through. sAviOr once again moving in now, trying to finish Iris off. He takes out a science vessel, takes out both the science vessels. He's set up Dark Swarm inside the mineral-only swarm all over the place. Ultralists moving in, Zerglings moving in. Iris, very limited forces, guys. About 3 tanks there, and he's just being completely overwhelmed. And a constant stream of units flooding into Iris's base. This is the final battle. Iris has to GG. He has to type out. There is nothing he can do to save this game. sAviOr has map control. sAviOr has dominance. sAviOr has the army. Iris, I'm afraid, does not have very much in response. He's trying to hold off. He's trying to use his SCVs now in a futile attempt to battle against sAviOr's advancing units, and they're just dying by the droves. And as expected, Iris calls it GG, game over. Iris loses, sAviOr wins. Yet another complete mastery of the game demonstrated by sAviOr. He just dominated that matchup. He controlled the game right from the outset. You know, his expansions were never really under threat, bar that one time when Iris managed to sneak a medic and marine group through, and you can see Iris looking quite pensive there, contemplating what's going on. in that emphatic victory by sAviOr. That has to have dented his morale. So anyway, I really enjoyed watching that game. I think it was pretty good. I guess it was a bit one-sided, but I'm always happy to watch Terran get owned because I think they're lame and they turtle. So this is Klazart. Hope you enjoyed that commentary. Thanks for watching.
미치는구나 싶은 그런 면모가 참 많아요 지금. 자, 마련 선풍적이 되었습니다만은 저그에게 좀 어려운 맵으로 바꿔보는 또 리버 스태프가 롱기를 수주해서 변형태를 연파하면서 이제 히치하이커가 4경기에 준비되고 있는 가운데.
This is Klazart bringing you another audio commentary. This is Game 4 of the Season 3 OSL semi-finals between Iris and sAviOr. And this is a must-win game for Iris, sAviOr being ahead 2-1. So Iris needs to win this to stay in the game. This game is being played on Hitchhiker, which is a very interesting map since there are only a single spawn location for each player. In this case, sAviOr starts up at the top left corner of the map, and Iris at the bottom right corner of the map. sAviOr in yellow with the Zerg. I think with regards to sAviOr, in terms of vulnerability, the only time I've really seen him lose versus Terrans is when they get him before his Defiler tech is ready. sAviOr's late game play tends to be so immaculate that once he has his Defilers up, he can hold you off indefinitely pretty much, while he continues to create expansions and eventually overwhelm you. So to my view, the key to beating sAviOr here has got to be an early to mid game attack, and that leaves him, in my view, vulnerable in 2 points. The first would be kind of a medic and marine rush, and the second would be a kind of Terran tank push before sAviOr has Defilers. And really, if you don't beat sAviOr by that stage, I don't think you're going to have what it takes to beat him later on in the game, because his play just is incredible at that stage. So this map is very interesting. I mean, I've seen sAviOr play against Midas in this map, and he used a very interesting and unique strategy where he went for Guardians, and I remember at the time watching that and going, what the hell is he doing? This is crap, he's going to lose. And he pulled out the win with the Guardians, so obviously sAviOr knew what he was doing, needless to say. But so we have seen some inspirational stuff on this map before by sAviOr. It'll be interesting to see what he does this time around. And it's interesting to note that he's sending his first drone out to scout. No, okay, he's pulled it back. It looked like he was sending that drone out to scout Midas's base. Or Iris's base, sorry, but he's actually started off his expansion, so sAviOr's taken his natural expansion. It'll be interesting to see whether he puts up a spawning pool first or a third hatchery, or how long he waits to go for his third hatchery on this map, since this map is kind of prone to kind of early rushes from Terran, just because of the fact that the distance is kind of relatively short between the two bases and it's very direct. So and the fact that Midas is building his bunker very early here, and he's got his barracks very early, and he's got it almost finished, and he's also got his refinery, which means he's going to be having an academy very soon. That's got to put sAviOr in mind that Midas might be trying to pull off kind of an early medic and marine attack here. So that's so sAviOr's got to keep that in mind when he considers what he's going to go for, and you can see he hasn't opted to put that third hatchery down yet. He scouted Iris's base. He knows what Iris is doing. He hasn't opted to put that third hatchery down, and his expansion is up. He's put his spawning pool down. Usually by this stage you'd see sAviOr put up that third hatchery, and he hasn't gone for that on this occasion. Or maybe he's going to do that now. He's sending a drone off towards the right side of the map, and maybe he's going to build an expansion there. Iris, I think, as I said, needs to kind of pressure sAviOr early. You can't leave sAviOr to do as he wills, because he will overrun you late game. And Iris looks like he's going to do exactly that. He's building that factory there, and it's interesting that he's building it next to neutral buildings. And that could be done for one of two purposes. Firstly, he doesn't want sAviOr finding it, so he wants to mislead sAviOr about the level of technology that he has. And it's going to be interesting if sAviOr's drone actually sees that. He's trying to stop that drone from getting up north to see that factory, but sAviOr actually is displaying some excellent micro skills there, maneuvering the drone up, and he's found the factory. So sAviOr has to know that Iris is going to float that factory over those neutral buildings and send a few vultures down, and try and harass sAviOr that way. And sAviOr really, if he's not gonna, I don't think he's gonna realistically be able to get his spire up in time, and I think he's gonna need to build a Hydralisk den here to counter those. I know it probably wasn't in his game plan, since he still hasn't put down that third hatchery. But I think if sAviOr does not have a Hydralisk Den, you know, Iris is going to be able to do significant damage to his economy. Excuse me. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And you can see Iris has actually floated his factory up over those neutral buildings, so he's going to have vultures popping out of there very soon. And sAviOr does not, and he's already had one vulture that he made before he floated the factory over. That's kind of, you know, but sAviOr does have upgraded Zerglings. His Zerglings have been upgraded in speed, so that does give him kind of a way of coping with that. Meanwhile, Iris has completed a starport, so we'll expect to see a few science vessels popping out of that anytime soon. sAviOr trying to get up that ramp with those Zerglings, it's futile. You know, it's very easy to block that off, and Iris anticipating that has his SCVs there, and sAviOr runs back with the Zerglings because he knows that that factory's probably been floated over, and since there were no more vultures coming out of Iris's main and the ramp was blocked off, that the vultures are going to come from somewhere else. And Iris having sent 2 vultures towards sAviOr's base, is floating that factory back over, probably to start off his tank tech to build that machine shop. And you can see here the effectiveness of the vulture against you know, units like Zerglings. Even though I think these ones are upgraded in speed, you know, Iris is having no trouble just picking them off one by one. And I think those Zerglings have not landed a single hit. He just killed 5 Zerglings without them landing a single hit. So that's significant. That's about 150 minerals, you know, that sAviOr could have used to build drones. And especially considering the fact that sAviOr only went for 2 hatcheries on this occasion, I think it's gonna be a big factor in the deciding of this game. And Iris already has his science facility up, so he's gonna have his science vessels up. He's gonna have that irradiate ready. You know, sAviOr still doesn't have a Hydralisk Den. Lurkers nowhere on the horizon, and Iris seems to be kind of doing really well here. I really don't know what sAviOr needs to do at this stage. I mean, he needs to try and find a way of catching up to Iris in terms of technology because of the small nature of this map. You know, I think the key here is going to be sAviOr's Mutalisk Harass. Can sAviOr's Mutalisk Harass be effective? If sAviOr's Mutalisk Harass is ineffective, Iris will win this game because you know, from this point of view, I mean, Iris has killed off so many Zerglings with those 2 vultures that it's just going to be very, very difficult for sAviOr to recount that loss. I mean, he's lost at least 10 or 15 Zerglings there. You know, that's 5 to 7, 8 drones that he could have built, that he used to build Zerglings in order to try and ward off those vultures. So not only has he lost economically, I mean, you've got to remember he's only got 2 hatcheries, so he's got less larvae to build units. So not only has he got a poor economy from not building drones and building Zerglings, but he's also lost those Zerglings, and they won't be there to support those Mutalisks in any battle that occurs because they've been killed off by the vultures. And in contrast, all Iris did was make a couple of vultures. So I think that exchange worked very profitably for Iris. Now, sAviOr, this is the critical point here. This Mutalisk Harass, in my opinion, is going to decide who wins or loses this game. sAviOr needs to keep Iris. He needs to set Iris back a little bit, just as well as Iris did with his. And oh my God, the irradiate goes off, and sAviOr loses 2 Mutalisks to that irradiate, one of which was already damaged by medic and marine fire. So you know, this harass, sAviOr needs to keep Iris pinned back in his base. He needs to do some harm to Iris. He needs to slow him down, make him think, and buy himself the time he needs to get up that tech tree, you know, to make those lurkers. And so far it's been ineffective. He's tried to pick off Marines. I think he's killed maybe a couple of Marines, no more, and he's lost Mutalisks. And he's finally setting that 3rd hatchery up now, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough at this stage. He only has 2 gas. He's got his 3rd hatchery building now, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to catch up in terms of economy, because Iris is, you know, normally sAviOr's 3 hatch would give him an advantage against a Terran who doesn't fast expand, and maybe sAviOr was expecting Iris to fast expand, since that's what Iris has done on pretty much every occasion. And that's what I believe Midas did against sAviOr, and again another you know, Mutalisk irradiated there. And I think Iris has kind of copped on, and he's realized that you know, especially on a map like this, you know, getting at sAviOr early is important because of sAviOr's late strength at late game play, and therefore Iris chose not to fast expand, and he kind of forced sAviOr therefore to kind of not go for his usual 3 hatch build. So sAviOr finally has that Hydralisk Den up. He's going to be making lurkers, but I don't see, you know, how he's going to hold off this attack from Iris when it comes. He's trying to keep Iris occupied. Another irradiate goes off, and sAviOr slow 1 down. He's lost 1 Mutalisk. He's lost 2 Mutalisks. he lost 2 Mutalisks and took significant damage on the others. He just could not separate out all Mutalisks on that occasion. So sAviOr's micro letting him down on that occasion, and he's trying to quickly put up a sunken line to slow that advance, and that should be able to slow down the medic and marines along with the science vessels. But we do expect a tank to be popping out for RS anytime soon. You remember he floated that factory over back over his base, and again sAviOr desperately trying to keep RS back, to try and continue to force him to go back to his base, using those Mutalisks to harass him, because he knows he doesn't have what it takes to cope with an all-out attack. He loses another Mutalisk there to a group of medic and marines covering that tank, and sAviOr needs to find some way of taking that tank down to buy himself some time, because otherwise he is finished in this game. This is looking very, very bad for sAviOr now, because Iris coming up now with a medic and marine force, 2 science vessels, and 2 tanks, and sAviOr doesn't even have a single lurker up at that point. He's building his first lurker now, and he's just got a couple more Hydralisks that he's going to morph into lurkers. Those Sunkens should buy him some time, but as we've seen in previous games, what's really bought sAviOr time is the fact that he's been able to burrow lurkers along the path to his base, therefore forcing his opponent to siege and unsiege his tanks. And that was very, very careless by Iris. He put up that tank in siege mode within range of one of the Sunkens and has lost it. So that was very careless, a needless loss, but he's got a second one coming up to replace it. Another radiant goes off on sAviOr's Mutalisks, and he has very few Mutalisks left there. He does have a couple of skirts, so he's going to try and take down those science vessels. I mean, I'm not sure what sAviOr can do to come back at this point to try and slow Iris down enough that he can catch up, or that he can get his defiler tech. He doesn't have the resources. He doesn't have the units that he needs. He has a few lurkers. He doesn't seem to have a lot of Zerglings to support them. And another irradiate goes off, so that lurker is going to die. I don't think sAviOr has enough to go on a full-out frontal assault against Iris's forces and be successful in pushing him back. Iris has a lot of medic and marines. He's got 2 tanks. He's got more reinforcements on the way, and sAviOr has no Sunkens. This is going to be it here. I think Iris is just about ready to move in. The Scourges come in. They get taken out. The lurkers moving a little bit closer. They don't really kill anything. They take a couple of hits from the tanks. sAviOr sends the Zerglings to try and distract the medic and marine force while his lurkers move in, but the lurkers are taken down. All the lurkers are down. This is GG. Yep, the expression on sAviOr's face said it all. That was a great game by Iris, very well played. I certainly think the map had a little bit of a factor to play, because it did lead sAviOr to doubt his strategy, and I think Iris successfully kind of fooled sAviOr into thinking he was going for a medic and marine rush, whereas what he was doing was fast teching and getting his vultures out there. And I think sAviOr's decision to go for his usual Spire and go for Mutalisks and only go 2 hatchery is what cost him in the game. He did not have Hydralisks or even a Sunken in his main, and again the fact that those vultures that Iris produced from the factory that he floated over were able to get around. Even if sAviOr had built a Sunken in his expansion, they would still have been able to get at sAviOr's main. So I think sAviOr lost too much in the way of resources in those Zerglings that he lost. The fact that he didn't have the three hatcheries, he only had 2, and the fact that Iris went for a fast tech really outdid sAviOr, and as we see sAviOr vulnerable at the mid game, especially so since he didn't have the resources on this occasion. So that was a great game, and it sets us up for an exciting finale in game 5. This is Klazart. Hope you enjoyed that commentary.